So, hi friends, let's proceed to the next chapter. That is chapter 3 for Indian Constitution. This is the salient features of Indian Constitution. So, salient here means the important features. So, I will be discussing like 15 main features of Indian Constitution here, which makes it very different from the other constitutions. So the first, let's start with the first one. So the first is that it is the lengthiest constitution, or you can say lengthiest written constitution. Now focus on this word, that written constitution. So you may think that all the constitutions are written, but it's not true. So here, written constitution means a rigid constitution which require a procedure if you want to change any kind of law. Like India has written constitution, then USA also has written constitution. America was actually the first country to have the written constitution. Then there can be unwritten constitution also. Unwritten constitution in the sense it doesn't require much effort to change this constitution or to change any regulation in it. That is very easy. So that is totally flexible. So British, they had the flexible constitution. They still have the flexible constitution. So our constitution is written, then ours is the lengthiest written constitution. Of course, it is very lengthy. Like if you say so precisely, there are 395 articles and 8 schedules in our constitution, which make it one of the heftiest constitution in the world. Then the reasons, why is it so long or why is it so lengthy? So there are a number of reasons for it. The first one is our geographical and demographic reasons. Like first of all, our country is so wide, then it has such a huge diversity. Everything had to come into that. So to we have people from all economic background, all social backgrounds, lot of diversity is there. So it require rules and regulations for all of them, laws for every one of them. So that is one of the reason that it is so lengthy. The second one is that we have common constitution. That means here that we have the same constitution for one country. We just have one constitution. We do not have a different constitution for every state in like America. America has a country constitution, then they also have rules and regulations for different states. And it is not so in our country. So we have one common constitution. And the next reason is that the source of our constitution, the primary source of Indian constitution was the Government of India Act of 1935, which itself was so lengthy. And the last reason is that our source for Indian Constitution, the main source is the Government of India Act of 1935. So this act itself was so lengthy, and since it was the main source, so naturally the Constitution also will be lengthy. Now coming to the second feature, that is the about the various sources. That means that we have ransacked our constitution from various sources. Ransacked basically means that we have taken, or you can, in simple words, you can say we have copied from other constitutions. So the good things have been taken from multiple sources. So we have taken a number of things from Japan Constitution, Russia Constitution, USA, and then Irish Constitution also. So we have taken number of things from other countries. That is the meaning of ransacking. Remember this word. We have ransacking from multiple sources. Now, which part we have ransacked from where, we will be studying that into further chapters. Then the third one is that our constitution, it is the combination of rigid and flexible. So it is neither rigid nor flexible. Some of the laws which are very easy to change, like with simple majority in Lok Sabha, you can change that law. So it makes it flexible. But some of the laws or acts, they are very difficult to be changed. and they require special majority. Sometimes they require absolute majority to be changed. That means it is very very difficult to change some of the acts, and those articles have been problems in Indian constitution also from a lot of time, but we are not able to change them easily. So that makes it the combination of both rigid and flexible. Coming to the next one, our constitution is a quasi federal constitution. Here quasi federal constitution means we have the combination of federalism, and we also have the co- unitary system, you can say. So we have federal system plus unitary system, both of them combined together. So but bias is towards the unitary. We have the federal system of constitution with unitary bias. Like, let us discuss the features which makes our constitution as federal. First one is bicameralism. It means we have two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. That's the meaning. So that is a federal system. Then we have a written constitution. So that is one of the feature of federal constitution. Then the power is divided. The division of power is there among union and states. That is another feature. And the last one is that we have independent judiciary. So these are the feature of federal system. Now why is we have unitary bias in the constitution? There are some of the reasons for that. Like in unitary system you will always have single citizenship, which is there in our country. Single citizenship means we do not have different citizenship for the country or the state. But it happens in some of the countries, like in USA, you need to have a country citizenship first, then you need to have a citizenship for the state also. So that dual state citizenship concept is not there in our country. Then we have a single constitution. We do not have separate constitution for any of the state, except from the exception of Jammu and Kashmir, you can say. Or else in that also most of the things have been taken from our constitution itself. So every state do not have their own constitution. So that is one of the feature, unitary feature. Then we have a strong center. Naturally the center is very strong as compared to the state, you can say. Even the central government is more powerful than the state government. Then we have all India services. That means we have the bureaucrats and officers selected at all India level. So UPSC makes it one of the reason for unitary system. And lastly, the concept of governor. See, in federal features, you will just have a chief minister, but having a governor in every state, which will be sent by the central government to the state. So central government select all the governors. So this is one of the unitary feature. So this itself is called as, remember this word, this is a quasi-federal system. Next is that the fifth point, we have parliamentary form of government. Here parliamentary form of government means we will have two heads, one nominal head and one real executive head. This is very important. Who is the real executive of the country? That is Prime Minister. So nominal head of our country is president and executive head is prime minister. This itself is parliamentary form of government. And another feature which makes it parliamentary form is that we have majority party rule. So naturally one party which will be getting highest seats in Lok Sabha, that is 273 plus. So if any party gets 273 plus seats in Lok Sabha, that will be the majority party and that will be ruling. And another feature is that dissolution of lower house. That means dissolution of Lok Sabha. So after 5 years, after every 5 years, Lok Sabha dissolves and new elections take place. That is the feature of a parliamentary system. Next one is that we have independent and integrated judiciary. So our judicial system is independent also and integrated also. What makes it so? The first one is that we have same law throughout Supreme Court, then High Court, and then other courts. So we do not have different laws at different levels. Like High Court and Supreme Court will be following the same constitution, same laws and regulations. So that is that makes our judiciary integrated, and we also protect the judiciary. So our judges, the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts, they get so many other privileges, and they get the protection from the law, which we will be studying in further chapters also. And next one is that we do have fundamental rights. So this concept of fundamental rights, it is taken from America. America do have fundamental rights for its citizens. Then remember this, that fundamental rights are provided in Part 3 of Indian Constitution, and they are guaranteed by Indian Constitution to us. Every citizens will have fundamental rights. It's guaranteed. In case if to protect or to stop any danger from these fundamental rights, so that nobody can take that away from you, there is also power given to Supreme Court, which is called as writs. So a Supreme Court can pass writs if any citizens file a complaint against that his fundamental rights are taken away from him. Next one is the DPSP concept. So this is also a unique feature of our country's constitution. This directive principle of state policy is nothing but these are the directions which are given to future government by our constituent assembly. So see, at that time when the constitution was being framed by B.R. Ambedkar and other committee members, they do wanted to give the future direction to the coming governments, so that they could have a guideline that how to go about and which are the things which they have to maintain throughout, no matter what happens. So we got independence after so much of struggle. So in order to maintain that, and in order to make every citizen equal, this was important. So DPSP was the guidelines given for future government by the framers of the constitutions, you can see. In these DPSPs, we have three types of principles: socialistic, Gandhian, and intellectual principles. These principles we will be studying in the further chapter. After that, we have fundamental duties. So, see, fundamental duties are actually the unique feature, and not many countries in the world have the fundamental duties. This was actually added to our constitution in 42nd Amendment Act. So let me tell you, 42nd Amendment Act took place in 1976. It was during the emergency rule. At the time when emergency was passed by Indira Gandhi, after that, the fundamental duties were introduced to the constitution. So this there is a concept of fundamental duties, something like this in Japan constitution as well. But Japan is not a democratic country. In any democratic country, this is very unique to India. Then another thing is to remember is that fundamental duties are present in Part 4A of Indian Constitution. So remember this Part 4A. In Part 3, fundamental rights are present. In Part 4A, fundamental duties are present. And but one good thing and relaxing thing is that fundamental duties are non-justiciable. This means that the state cannot enforce them on any citizen or on us. They cannot punish us because one of the fundamental duties is not obeyed. So they are non-justiciable in nature. They cannot go to the court for that. The state cannot force this duty on its citizens. That's the meaning. Another important feature is that the word secular, it was also added in 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, same time when emergency was passed. So it is added to the preamble of the constitution. But our secularism have different meaning than other countries. In other countries, it means that the religion should not come in the way of, you can say, while practicing the law. That is the meaning of secular in other countries. But in India, it means that we respect all the religions. So it is not that religion will be different from the law. We do have so many fundamental rights, and you can say so many privileges are also given to minorities and some of the religion people. But that is because the word secular is different in our constitution. We believe it as respecting all the religions. Another 11th point is the universal adult franchisee. That means any citizen who is above 18 years, every citizen has the right to vote. This right to vote is nothing but universal adult franchisee. That means every adult can give the votes. So this is one of the thing which makes everybody is equal. All religion, all caste, any social background person who is eligible to vote. And this kind of brings power in everybody's hand. I have the right to select my own authority or my own leader. It's a very big power in each citizen's hand, and it makes us very powerful. Britishers never gave us universal adult franchisee. If you remember, when they came with the voting concept, they gave it only to the 10% of Indians. So the people who were very rich or powerful in a particular area, they were allowed to vote. But when we got the independence and framed our own constitution, universal adult franchise is given. Another thing is that again single citizenship. So we do not have the concept of dual citizenship. We do not have separate citizenship for the state and the country. We will have only one citizenship, and that is the Indian citizenship. In case of state, we do have domicile from different states, but our citizenship will only be one. And in countries like America, there are dual citizenships. Then we have some of the independent bodies. So the constitution has given the right to these independent bodies. This is Controller and Auditor General. We will be studying further about it in coming chapters. Then we have UPSC, which is an independent body. State Public Service Commissions are independent bodies, and Election Commission of India. So these are just some of the examples in which Constitution has given complete independence to these governmental bodies. Another 14th point is that we have emergency provisions. Remember which emergency is there in which article. In Article 352, a national emergency provision is there. In Article 356, President's rule is there. And in Article 360, financial emergency is there. So this three types of emergencies are provided in Indian Constitution: Article 352, 356, and 360. It just remember which article comes where. And the next is that three-tier government. So we have three-tier government under in India. So three-tier government here means that we will have a union government which will be at the center level. Then we do have the state government for the different states, and finally we have local government, that is the municipalities and panchayats, which was also it is actually the Gandhian principle of DPSP. It was given under that. So, and it was also provided under 73rd and 74th um Amendment Act of 1992. So, in 1992, this concept of local government was added. The panchayats and Panchayati Raj came in 1992. This is a thing to remember. And finally, not only the local government but the cooperative societies are also there. That means we have been given fundamental right in under Article 19. So we have fundamental right to form groups or to form cooperative societies, any kind of cooperative society, so that we can mutually support each other. Then there are some criticisms also for our constitution, like some people say it is borrowed from other countries. So again, there is nothing bad to borrow something good, and we can borrow the good things from everywhere. That is what is done in our constitution. Some say this Government of India Act, this is constitution is copy of the Government of India Act 1935, which is again true, like most of the part is taken from Government of India Act 1935. But again, there is nothing wrong in it, because Government of India Act 1935 was Indian Act, and everything was done for Indians only there. So we have not taken from somewhere else. It was our own act. So what is wrong if we have the roots of our constitution in that act? Then some say it is not totally Indian. That is because at the time when Constituent Assembly was framing this constitution, some Britishers also used to sit in meetings. They used to guide and advise. Again, there is no harm in that. Then some say it is, they say that it is elephantine size. That means it is a very, very huge constitution and it is very lengthy. But again, it was the requirement of the country. See, we have so many languages, so many cultures. So such a big constitution was our need. Any small constitution wouldn't have served us in this great manner. And some so that was about the criticisms. Again, I'll say that it is a beautiful constitution given by our constituent assembly. Till date we do have made some amendments, but we never changed our constitution. There are so many countries like Pakistan which have changed their constitution completely so many times. And it was not required for our country. One of the things is that because there is so much of you can say effort and concern also put into it. Nobody is left out in our constitution, and every community has been taken care of. Every citizen has been given a complete equality. That is one of the reason that we are doing so well in spite of being such a big population and such a heterogeneous group. It is able to serve everyone. So that is the best part of our constitution, and let us take these criticisms also in positive manner. That's it. Thank you.